All right. Thank you all for joining tonight. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the virtual public information meeting for State Project 28210, which is the replacement of Bridge 00395 carrying Prospect Hill Road over Route 2 in the town of Colchester. My name is Suvas Takal, and I am the project engineer with the Connecticut Department of Transportation, consulting bridge design. On behalf of the project team, I would like to thank you all for attending today's presentation. We hope you find this presentation informative and that we can address any questions or concerns you may have. Next slide, please. Available to those joining us tonight through Zoom is the option to view captions or subtitles. To turn on this feature, select the Show Captions button or the CC button at the bottom of your screen. Then select the Speaking Language button and then select the desired language. As part of the Title VI Civil Rights Act, no person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. Additional information on the civil rights can be found on the link shown on the slide. A link for voluntary post-meeting survey is also provided. We will greatly appreciate if you could complete the survey after tonight's meeting. The results of the survey will help us improve these virtual public meetings going forward. Links to both the public survey and the civil rights are also available on the project webpage. This slide shows the Title VI notice to the public, which states that the Connecticut Department of Transportation operates its programs and services without regard to race, color, and national origin in accordance with the Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. Any person who believes he or she has been aggrieved by any unlawful discriminatory practice under Title VI may file a complaint with the city DOT. This slide has the Title VI notice to the public in Spanish. I will pause on the screen for a minute before moving on to the next slide. And just a reminder, a recording of this presentation will be posted to YouTube after the event, which you can find linked to the project webpage. Next slide, please. This presentation will end with a questions and answer session. Questions can be submitted in multiple ways. For the quickest response, please submit the questions to the Zoom Q&A. This feature will only be available during tonight's meeting. If you would like to submit your questions through email, please use the email provided on the screen, dotproject28-210@city.gov. And if you prefer to submit your questions by phone, you can leave a voicemail at 860-594-2020 now during the meeting or later. Please note, we will be checking the voicemail periodically during the presentation so that we can address your comments and answer your questions. Please state your name, contact number, and reference the project number 28-210 as the reason for your call on the voicemail. The Q&A box and the voicemail will be screened by the project team, and the project team will then read the questions out loud. Questions may be asked anytime during the presentations, but they will be answered at the end. A recording of tonight's meeting will also be made available on the project webpage. The webpage will also include information on how to leave question and comment to the project team. The website is shown on the screen, which is portal.ct.gov/DOT Colchester 28-210. The question and comment period by email or phone will be open through November 27th, 2025. To use the Zoom Q&A feature, select the Q&A tool at the bottom of your Zoom webinar window. The Q&A window will open as seen on the right. Then you can type the question in the text box and then click enter, and it will submit the question. If you are an audio-only participant, please dial *9 to raise and lower your hand. I would now like to introduce the project team. First, on the top row, we have from the Connecticut Department of Transportation, Derek Lachard, the Division Chief of Bridges, and then Gregory Funk, the Principal Engineer. On the bottom right, we have Chris Patria, the Supervising Engineer, and on the bottom left, myself, Suvash Takal, the Project Engineer. Additionally, BSB is working on the project as the department's consultant liaison engineer. From BSB, we have Mark Levesque, the CLE program manager, and Tyler Turcotte, the CLE project engineer. SLR Consulting was selected as the design engineer for this project. Thank you for bearing with me. I will now hand it over to Tyler, who will begin the formal presentation for the bridge replacement project.
Hello, I'm Tyler Turcotte with VHB, as Suvash introduced. So going on into this project, we'll start by describing the project purpose and need. So this project here is to replace bridge number 00395 due to structural deficiencies, with the goal to provide a structure with a raised vertical clearance over Route 2 that it can meet all current load rating and highway design standards, and maintain a state of good repair for this crossing. This here shows the project location in a bit more of a zoomed out view where you can see where it stands along Route 2, and some of the routes and surrounding geographic features. Moving on from there, there's a more zoomed in aerial view showing the geography and nearby properties and houses around the bridge and Prospect Hill Road. Additionally, we have some photos detailing the bridge itself. These are the west and east elevation views of the bridge looking from Route 2. And then on Prospect Hill Road above, there's a view looking north over the bridge and a view looking south from the bridge. And additionally, from the bridge, looking down at Route 2 to the west and east. I'll give a bit of context. Now, this here details a typical bridge diagram to illustrate some of the bridge components that may be discussed. Working from the top down, there's the bridge deck with parapets on either side, what you see when you drive over it. This rests on the steel girders for the bridge superstructure, and those rest on bearings that are also part of the superstructure. The bearings are then seated on piers and abutments. The abutments are at the ends of the bridge, while for this project, there's one pier at the center. Those are all part of the substructure and sit on footings or piles. So to give an overview of the current existing bridge, it was constructed in 1959. The travelway width, that is from curb to curb or barrier to barrier, of Prospect Hill Road is 30 feet, while the total bridge width, including the barriers to the outside, is 35.7 feet. The overall length of the bridge is roughly 174 feet, with the largest span being 91 feet. In terms of the traffic, we have the most recent average annual daily traffic, that's the AADT, of 232 vehicles, and there's a posted speed of 25 miles an hour over the bridge. As you can see here with the pier, there's two spans, and they are simply supported with the steel girders and concrete deck superstructure. And those are supported by the reinforced concrete abutments, which sit on spread footings, and the center pier here, which is founded on piles. And one of the major problems with the bridge is the vertical underclearance to Route 2 is currently inadequate. I have some photos here to detail the existing bridge condition. It's rated in the bridge inspections that are done. And this here shows the deck is in poor condition. You can see patches and missing concrete and exposed rebar. Then the superstructure, or primarily the girders here, are in satisfactory condition, but you can see some of the rusting along the span and especially at the beam ends where there's leakage. And then the substructure, that's the abutments and piers, is in fair condition. Moving on to the proposed structure, this gives a elevation view from the side of the bridge. This will be approximately 154 foot long with reinforced concrete deck on steel beams. So that's a slightly shorter span than what's currently there, and those span lengths will be reduced by shifting the abutments in a little closer. And additionally, the bridge will be raised to accommodate the clearance issues and hit the minimum vertical clearance required. And the proposed structure will also have reinforced concrete abutments and wing walls bearing on spread footings and a center pier on piles, matching what is existing. This here shows a general plan so a top-down view showing a little more of surrounding area to the bridge as well. The roadway approaches on Prospect Hill Road will require some reconstruction and repaving, especially on the southern side to accommodate the raise and vertical profile. That one may entail some guardrail being redone, some driveway entrances, and additionally will include the slopes around the abutments needing some to be redone and maybe shifted. That's detailed with the brown in the graphic. Additionally, some drainage structures and pipes may need to be shifted or cleaned, and there are 2 utility poles that will likely require temporary and potentially permanent relocation on either side of the bridge. And this here is the cross section of the bridge, looking as though it were cut in half down the roadway. As you can see here, we've got 16 feet roadway, which is a 11-foot travel lane and 5-foot shoulder on each side of the bridge. It has concrete parapets and a 3-inch pavement over the bridge deck. For maintenance of and protection of traffic during construction, the majority will be performed with a detour of Prospect Hill Road. And additionally, there will be some lane shifts and closures on Route 2 below the bridge anticipated. It will likely involve temporary concrete barrier in the shoulders and median for work required on the substructure, the abutment and piers, and there will be potentially rolling roadblocks at low volume hours overnight for the crane picks when superstructure members are to be placed, but those would be short term for periods not exceeding 15 minutes. Then this here details the detour plan for the time where the bridge would be closed. It's a relatively short one of 2.7 miles, as you can see, going along the roads listed here, Prospect Hill Road to Old Hartford Road to Mill Hill Road to Williams Road, then back to Prospect Hill Road. The duration of the detour is anticipated to go for about the full construction season of 8 months when the bridge is being replaced. And additionally, for environmental considerations, wanted to note that portions of the bridge are located in a FEMA flood hazard area. And additionally, about 400 feet south of the bridge, there is a FEMA floodway along Meadow Brook. Shouldn't affect the project notably, but flood management certification may be required. Additionally, for the nearby utilities, as I mentioned, there are some poles near the bridge on each side that may need to be temporarily or permanently relocated to assist with construction. And in terms of the rights of way, because of the raised profile, some of the grading around the abutments and roads may extend a little further than existing, especially at the south end of the bridge. However, due to the rights of way extending fairly far from the road, no impacts are anticipated to extend outside of existing town or state right of way. And additionally, to note, the two properties on the south side of the bridge are owned by the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection and the town of Colchester. I'll hand this back over to Suvash for this slide.
On this slide, we have the construction cost and project schedule. Please note the project schedule and cost are preliminary and subject to change. At this time, the estimated construction cost is $10,250,000. Construction is anticipated to begin at spring of 2028 and end at fall of 2028. So this concludes the formal presentation portion for tonight's meeting. We will now move on into the open forum portion for your comments and questions. I will now hand it over to Mark from PSB. We will be the MC during the Q&A session.
Thank you, Suvash and Tyler, for the presentation. As Suvash said, my name is Mark Levesque. I'm the project manager for this project with VHB, and I'm going to be the MC for the evening. First of all, we want to thank everyone for joining us, whether it be on Zoom, listening by phone, or even watching the recording on YouTube at a later date. The purpose of this meeting is to provide the public with an overview of the project and get some feedback and answer any questions you may have. With that being said, we're going to start our live question and answer session with the design team available to answer any questions you may have. As previously discussed and on the screen, there are three ways you can ask the question. First is by email. It's dotproject28-210@ct.gov. Second is voicemail, and that number is 860-594-2020. And we ask that you include the project number that is 28-210 with your voicemail so it gets the appropriate project team. And the third, for those of you who are joining us on our live Zoom stream here, is our live Q&A function. There should be a tab on your screen that says Q&A. Just click the tab, type your question, and hit enter. This is only going to be available during this live meeting. However, we will be checking the email and voicemail for the next 2 weeks. We'll also be checking the email and voicemail through this meeting, and we'll try to answer those questions as well if they come in. Another reminder about the project webpage, as we discussed, portal.ct.gov/DOT Colchester 28-210. There's a lot of good information, including this project email and voicemail if you don't remember it. There's also a post-meeting survey that we would appreciate if you could fill it out. It helps us get feedback on how to improve, on this meeting and how to improve future meetings. I put all of those links in the chat. And at this point, I'd really like to start the question and answers and see what kind of questions everyone has. Looks like we do have a question. And The question, what is the existing lowest clearance of the bridge, and what is the anticipated elevation change for Prospect Hill Road at the bridge? Tyler, can you answer that?
All right. So I believe the existing lowest clearance is in the range of 14'3" or so. I could be a little off on that number, but I believe it's being raised to 16'3", so a roughly 2-foot raise on the southern span. Pop to a elevation view to. So yes, the 16'3" is the proposed clearance, and I believe existing is approximately 14'3".
So it's approximately a 2-foot raise, Tyler?
Yes, yeah, just
2-foot
about
raise.
2-foot
We'll try
raise.
to tie it down as quickly as we can. We'll improve the profile of the roadway, trying to meet design standards and not impact properties is our goal. I
Okay.
believe we have a little clarification. It's 14'2" existing.
14'2". My
So we're
apologies there.
2'1". So I think that's an inch is okay.
But yeah, that will follow into the profile, into the approaches, and the roadway will adjust as needed. But ideally, it shouldn't affect any properties.
Okay. But we do have another question. Okay. We do have a question. Do we anticipate any blasting for and clearing or rocks for new footings or any part of construction? So Tyler, do you want to start this one?
Yeah, I think I can cover this. For this one, especially with the soils at the site, I don't believe we're too near any rocks. With the spread abutments, they would just be in soils, and the piles from the pier would extend further, but I don't believe any blasting or clearing for rocks is anticipated. It should all be within the soil, especially since we would all of these substructure units are very near the locations of the existing, which would be demolished.
Yeah, and I'm going to add that there may be some rock removal if we encounter it. I don't anticipate blasting. And with the fact that most of the construction is happening in already disturbed soils, we're putting the footing back pretty much in the same location it is today, and one abutment in the same location, the other a little closer, but it's already part of the highway footprint. So we wouldn't anticipate a lot of rock outcropping in the areas that we'd be putting in the foundations. It's great. Getting some good questions here. Very thoughtful ones. We did get another question. Why are we moving the abutment closer to the highway? It's a good question. I will let Tyler start.
All right. So the primary reason we're moving the abutment a little closer is primarily to reduce the size of the bridge. There's less bridge to maintain and upkeep. It saves costs for everyone. And we looked into all of the required clearances from Route 2, and the existing abutment was much further than it needed to be from Route 2. Moving it in, it still maintains all sight distance, all horizontal clearances, but saves some bridge square footage. So there's less bridge to maintain going forward and less bridge to install as part of this project. Shorter spans are helpful for that.
Which results in less cost too. So
Yeah,
with that,
yeah.
we
Helpful
also
all around.
checked. We also checked for any potential future Route 2 widening, and there's nothing in the plans for that. So that would make that a negative to moving the abutment in. And it's only on one side. I think the south side we're keeping right where it is, and I believe it's on the north. Is that correct, Tyler?
I believe so, roughly. There might be, I think there's room to potentially move it a little bit, like a foot or two on the south side, but I don't know if that's I don't believe that's a necessity. Whereas on the north side, it can move almost 15 feet, which saves a pretty significant amount of span. So the goal is primarily moving the north or shrinking the north span and keeping the south roughly where it is.
Thank you, Tyler. All good questions, so keep them coming in. We'll stay on as long as we need to. As long as questions are on, we'll stay and answer them. And just as a reminder, we do have the post-meeting survey. Link is in the chat. And so please visit the project webpage, portal.ct.gov/DOT Colchester 28-210. And there you can find the phone number and project email to send questions. If you think of anything after this meeting that you didn't think of right now, again, we'll be checking the next 2 weeks and try to get you an answer as soon as we can. That comment period is open till November 27th, which I believe is Thanksgiving. It's good timing. So if you're want to ask a question after some turkey, it's we'll be open until then. Don't see any questions right now. We'll stay on. Looks like we did get another question. And it says, none of the old materials will be reused, just recycling the steel. I'll start that. Yes, that is correct. With the age of the existing structure, with the, full replacement, we'll get the greatest lifespan possible. we did look at, during our study phase, look at, saving the existing foundations and things like that. But overall, we do a life cycle cost analysis, and to see whether using some of the existing bridge will save money over the lifespan. And in this case, the replacement made the most sense. As far as recycling, I'm not 100% sure of how that steel gets recycled, but it will be disposed of properly. We appreciate the questions. It's great feedback. Again, we'll stay on as long as we need to. And project email, dotproject28-210@ct.gov, voicemail 860-594-2020. And please include project number 28-210 in your message, so it gets to the right project team. And comment period open until November 27, 2025, 2 weeks from today. Appreciate the questions. Keep them coming, and we'll stay on till the last question is asked. Another question? Sounds like the steel gets too weak, was the question / comment. Yeah, the bridge steel strength, steel itself may deteriorate over time. Strength we kind of keeps constant for the most part. It's just that the material that was built a long time ago doesn't have the strength of the materials that we build today. So it's more of deterioration that happens over time, and bridge coatings fail. And when we put the new steel in, it has I think this will have either a metallized or galvanized coating. So it should last 7,500 years. And this one is nearing the end of its lifespan. So I don't know if Tyler, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, not much to add, but yeah, like you said, it's much more the deterioration and rusting that's, I guess, the reason for replacement and the reason the steel can't really be reused. And like you said, lower grades typically were used in the past. So new steel keeps everything up to modern standards, and like you said, it'll have a coating on it that will prevent rust for a good long while, so we get a good full life out of the new bridge.
We appreciate the questions and hopefully giving you some good answers. Give it a minute or two, and if there's any other questions. And I do want to remind everybody if this will be posted on YouTube, I think as early as tomorrow morning. So if there's anything from the presentation that you would like to see tomorrow, you can watch this whole presentation on YouTube. You'll have the question and answers as well. And I believe it'll be posted to the project webpage. And that project webpage, once again, portal.ct.gov/DOT Colchester 28-210. Looks like we did get a comment that someone has done for now. Okay. Unless I review and see something. So if you do review and see something, please give us a call, 594-2020, and leave project number 28-210, or email dotproject28-210@ct.gov. And the next question says, am I correct that you don't foresee any impact to the houses on Hickory Road next to Route 2 that are very close to the road during this project? Tyler, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, of course, Mark. Yeah, at this time, no impacts are anticipated on any of the properties on Hickory Road. Even the other properties on Prospect Hill Road outside of the DEEP and Town of Colchester one, they should all be fairly far from any of the potential impacts, but all potential impacts are currently anticipated to be within state and town right of way. So yeah, no impact to houses on Hickory Road. No impact to any residential properties in general are anticipated for this project. It's fairly self-contained with good wide right-of-way around the bridge at the moment and the roads. Good question, though. Thanks.
And probably one of the bigger impacts is you won't be able to turn and drive down Prospect Hill Road. So
yeah,
during the construction
the detour
period.
will be more of an impact than anything, I imagine.
And there may be some minor construction noise that you may, I don't know, you may be far enough away that you don't hear it, and they're held to, I believe it's 10 decibels. So, which I heard is power equipment in your yard or something like that. So, and the fact that this will be done with a full detour, and a lot of the construction activities can be done during the day. I'm sorry, I think it was 90 decibels. I'm sorry, I think I used the wrong number, but what I've been told is it's same as power equipment. All right, we'll stay on for another minute or so, unless we get another question. Thank you for all your questions. Appreciate the feedback. And since there's no more questions I'm seeing live, I think it's a good time to end our presentation. And just as a reminder, you can still ask questions through email or voicemail for the next 2 weeks, ending November 27, 2025, and the design team will respond. A recording of the presentation will be available on YouTube after the meeting, and you'll find the project email, voicemail, and recorded YouTube live presentation at the project webpage, portal.ct.gov/DOT Colchester 28-210. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us, and we really appreciate you being here, getting your questions and your feedback. Thank you, and good night.